Globalization isn't dying, it's mutating into something more chaotic, more fragmented, and more dangerous. In 2025, we're watching the world economy split, not neatly into regions, but into a messy, overlapping game of power, protectionism, and political survival. For decades, we believed in a borderless world, trade deals, open markets, global supply chains. But now, tariffs are back, trust is gone, and the most powerful nations on Earth, the US, China, Europe, are all retreating behind economic walls. And yet, this isn't a return to simple regionalism, because the world doesn't divide neatly anymore. The old theory goes like this. Countries mostly trade with their neighbors. It's called the gravity equation. Distance is costly, so trade stays close. But look at Southeast Asia. They trade massively with both China and the US. Which region are they in? The Indo-Pacific. That includes two-thirds of the world's population. That's not a region, that's the world. South America trades more with China than with the US, despite being in America's backyard. Europe still relies on US military power in the Middle East. The truth is, we never had pure globalization. And we're not heading toward tidy regions either. We're entering a multiplex world, a messy overlap of power, currency zones, and economic blocks. With fragmentation comes financial chaos. The euro was once seen as the dollar's rival, but it lacks two critical things: a fiscal union and political unity. Gold? It's a store of value, not a currency. You can't build a modern economy around metal. And China's yuan? It's growing, but global trust is still lacking. So what happens next? Not a new global reserve, but a split system. A Chinese zone, a US dollar zone, a euro zone, all partially self-sufficient, with overlapping trade, digital payments, and currency hedging in between. This isn't stability, it's chaotic fragmentation. This shift didn't begin with Trump, but he accelerated it. So did Brexit. So did COVID. So did the 2008 crash. Each crisis chipped away at the idea that globalization makes everyone better off. Now, nationalism is rising. So is protectionism. Governments are reasserting control. America is subsidizing AI and green tech. Europe is turning inward. China is hedging its bets. Everywhere the state is back, deciding who trades, who invests, and who wins. And it's working, for some. Here's the truth. Globalization wasn't inevitable. It was a policy decision by states because they thought it would make them richer. And now? Those same states are undoing it because the outcomes were messier, more unequal, and more destabilizing than expected. Western countries in particular saw their dominance erode. 12% of the world's population once controlled over 70% of global GDP. That's no longer sustainable, and it never really was. So now the powers that built globalization are the ones tearing it down. By 2050, there may be three dominant powers: the US, China, and India. The US might not be the leader. Globalization won't end, but it'll be messy, national, and fragile. There won't be a new global currency. There won't be one system. There will be many overlapping systems: trade zones, financial blocks, digital currencies. And the real danger? No one will be in charge. That's not multipolarity, that's disorder. If you found this breakdown helpful, subscribe to InnerEconomics for more cinematic deep dives into the future of power, money, and human behavior. Like, comment, and hit the bell. Because the global economy isn't slowing down, it's transforming. And we're here to make sense of it.